today we're going to be ranking all the Star Wars movies from worst to best. Now, yeah, you might be looking like, well, this is a tier list. Well, yeah, we're doing it in a tier list format, but it's not going to be in tier list format. We're doing it in numbers from worst to best. I know it sounds complicated, but this is literally the best way to rank them. Plus, I don't want to go on an in-depth video about an hour about how this Star Wars movie is better than that other Star Wars movie. Because if you want to see that type of stuff, you could see that. You could literally see that anywhere probably. I'm not even joking. I'm just being honest, you know what I mean. So there's a few Star Wars movies we're not going to be ranking in this tier list. Holiday Special, because I've never watched it. Plus, I don't even know if it's considered canon. When George Lucas owned it, before it got bought down by Disney, I don't even sure if the Star Wars Holiday Special, because George Lucas literally only talks about the original 6. Literally, he doesn't even talk about it. He doesn't even know which Holiday Special was even a movie. I don't even know if he even wrote that, personally. And also, there's any other side movies like the 2 Ewok movies. Yes, there's actually 2 Ewok movies that released in the 1980s. Never heard of them until a month ago, but they're actually proper Star Wars films. I think they were meant for like 5-year-olds or something like that. I'm not even joking. They were pretty terrible anyway, from what I heard, from what I've seen. And we may as well talk about another movie that I've got on this tier list, which is the Clone Wars movie. Yeah, there's actually a Clone Wars movie. There's a good chance you might not know about that, because it released all the way back before the TV show did, back 2008. And I watched the Clone Wars movie, and it sucked. I only watched it once, and I never watched it again. And it was over a decade ago, and I probably never will watch it ever again, because I think it would be a waste of 2 hours of my life, or however long it is. Maybe I'll force myself to watch it, but I'm not going to rank it just because I've not watched it forever, and I don't even know. I don't even know if it actually gets considered part of the Clone Wars TV show. If they actually, I would assume it is. I don't know. And what am I talking about? Let's finally get into the actual movies. What is the worst Star Wars movie? The worst Star Wars movie. Sequels. If you're a sequel lover, just to warn you in advance, you might want to click off the video. If you get bought up by other people's opinions, just saying that. Last Jedi. Oh, why is the Last Jedi the bottom of the list? Well, let's talk about the Last Jedi's advertisement. The advertisement for the Last Jedi, I will be honest, was pretty good. And let's just say that Ryan Johnson, I was going to swear a bunch, but I'm not going to do that yet. Even though I could for this movie, because it's really that bad. He said, this movie's going to be like Empire Strikes Back of Star Wars. It's going to be like the Empire Strikes Back of the original trilogy. Shut the fuck up. This is nothing compared to the Empire Strikes Back. I don't care. The full film is pretty much them getting chased by a freaking capital ship, literally. A big massive ship just chases their ship. That is literally the whole fucking movie. Seriously. And Luke, the destroyer Luke's character completely. Literally. Who the heck? That's not even Luke Skywalker. That's fucking like, I don't even know who that is. God. It's such an awful film. I could literally probably make a half an hour video, but you know what? There's plenty of videos out there about how Last Jedi is an awful movie. But I'm not even going to go into details about it. It just sucks. And it's awful. Easily the worst movie in this trilogy. In fact, I'll tell you one thing real quick. See how the original 6 movies, see 7, 8, and 9, never fucking happened in my eyes. Never happened. But anyway, what's the second worst? The Rise of Skywalker. See, I'm struggling to remember the names now. I have watched this movie 3 times. The Last Jedi I didn't watch 3 times. I watched it like on a school trip. I watched it when it came out, and I watched it a month later to fully understand it. And I was like, yes, it's awful. I've only watched this movie once when it first came out, and I will never watch it. I might watch it again one day. They brought back Palpatine. Really? They could have picked anybody apart from Palpatine. Literally. People were thinking it was going to be Darth Plagueis. I think Darth Plagueis would have been a smart choice, to be honest, but Palpatine was quite a lazy choice. They literally just copied all the legend comments. Like, a lot of completely. They just copied them, seriously. Not an original. And then the ending is the worst part of this movie. For Palpatine somehow gets the power of every single Sith ever. For he gets the power of Vitiate, Twi'lek Horde, Bane, his master, Tenebrae, God, Falcorian, blah blah blah. Could go into about 1,000 Sith Lords. So he gets the power of every single Sith. Now, if you had the power of every single Sith, I'm not entirely sure if they're actually Sith Lords are actually a thing. They probably are. He would literally be the most. He'd be a god of a god. He'd be like Zeus when it comes to Greek mythology. Like he's in charge of all the other gods. It'd be like that. If he had that type of power, I'm sorry, Rey would get absolutely demolished. And even if Rey did have the power of the Jedi, I ultimately believe if you had the power of all the Sith versus the power of all the Jedi, the power of all the Sith would dominate the Jedi. In fact, you should choose Nidus. Yeah, you could easily say, what's his Nidus? I'm thinking of Wolverine here. Literally just drain our power, seriously. What's that guy that eats Earths? Is it Nidus? I forgot his name. I need to play Star Wars Zulu Republic, Night Zulu Republic 2, pretty much. I play Soul Tattoo, not Soul Tattoo, Go Tattoo, because I actually forgot his name. Yeah. Next is Soul. I've watched Soul 2 times. This is not Han Solo. Sorry. I don't know what this character is. That is not Han Solo. The best part of the movie was the ending when they showed them all. Cool. I guess the Chewie, kept Chewie, man, surprised, and they kept Chewbacca. And he's in this movie didn't completely ruin him, which is surprising. Lando, they made Lando gay with robots. Yeah, he wants to shag a robot. Yeah. What? What the fuck? The Kessel run's kind of dumb. I'm pretty sure I've never really looked into the Kessel one in Legends, unfortunately, but I would imagine it was a lot more entertaining. I can tell you that. See, so it's just a bad movie. Sorry, it's just bad. It's just it could be ignored and it could be forgotten about. But these two movies above it, I don't know. All right, next is the movie that got sent in China. We don't need to talk about that. Force Awakens. What's bad about Force Awakens? It's probably the best in the sequel trilogy, and I'm being honestly, and that's not by a lot. Han's death is the most stupidest thing ever. Literally, they could have made Han sacrifice himself. Han Solo, like I was watching the original trilogy a few days ago, right? Literally, he stops making his errors by like turning the Jedi. He fixes all his flaws by like turning the Jedi. Then, but for some reason, in Force Unleash. God, why am I talking about Force Unleash? The Force Awakens. He literally comes back. They literally ruin everything. It's like he's worse a version than he was in the New Hope. Like him being a smuggler and all that. Literally, why would he go back to that? I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Rey somehow can beat Kylo Ren with no training whatsoever. It's just a bad movie. Do I really need to go into more details? Alright, where would I put next? Rogue One. Here's where I go to the movies where I actually start to like. Rogue One I think is a good movie. The problem is it's about how the Rebels steal the Death Star plan, and that's not in the movie. It's got some interesting characters like that blind guy and all that. There are some interesting characters in it, but it's kind of basic. Darth Vader scenes are really good in it, especially the last scene. It's a bit average. It's not. It's a movie you could easily skip. You really need to watch. It kind of leads to the events of New Hope. CGI Tarkin kind of looks stupid. Director Kenneth, I don't like Director Kenneth. The characters they all die, so it's not a bad movie. It's not. It's all right. I suppose. I wouldn't mind watching it again. Let's say that. I like kind of like the rest of these. I could watch this. Unlike these, I would really struggle to watch these last four movies. But the seventh place, I could watch it again, and not hate myself. I want to kill myself. All right, the original six. Come on, if you didn't expect the original six to be the top six, I don't know. I don't know what you came here to watch. So what's the worst? Attack of the Clones is the worst of the original six. I think a lot of people could agree with me on that one. Just oh, it's just too lovely, lovely to do. It's just too slow. It's just I don't know. It's watchable. It's just not really a good movie. It's okay at best. It's an alright movie. Padme and Anakin made love and all that, and it's about his mother. Sure, his mother seems sad. Tusken Raider seems kind of cool. Ray loses his anger and kills all Tusken Raiders. That's cool. He's just a little annoying boy. Uh, by the way, I'll tell you one thing. If you want to get a girlfriend, don't be like Anakin Skywalker in real life. You won't get one. They'll tell you, fuck off. They'll be like, you have the freaking police at your house, probably. Seriously. I'm not going to joke around there. Right? Alright. Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace. A lot of people don't like Phantom Menace when it came out in 1999. Phantom Menace, it's got some good scenes. Like, Qui-Gon Jinn, I actually really do like Qui-Gon Jinn as a character. Kind of sucks to have to kill him in the first movie he was in. He's probably more interested in Obi-Wan as a character in episode 1 and 2, I would say. Revenge of the Sith and all ones, I would say the original trilogy, Obi-Wan's a really good character, but a lot of episode 1 and 2, Qui-Gon Jinn's a much better character than Obi-Wan is. It is interesting. You learn so much about Qui-Gon Jinn that he's like a creature, and it's really cool. You don't really learn about that much in the movie, unfortunately. They do give you some hints, tell you some stuff, but it's really cool. Young Anakin's alright. The Boo Crisis, yeah, it's average, but it does feel how Anakin flies the ship and all that's cool. I know I'm going over the place. I'm not going in direct order. Jar Jar Binks is whatever. You know, it's not a terrible character, Jar Jar Binks. I don't think he's the worst character. I think it's just alright. It's a bit average. I think he is maybe a little bit overrated. No, it could be stupid to have a bunch of I don't even know what the Jar Jar. What's Jar Jar creature's names? Jeez, I don't even know that creature. They've got some interesting. The Darth Maul scene at the end's really cool. Where how Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon and then he kills Agony. And it's all Darth Maul shows to me is that if Obi-Wan can win in the low ground and the high ground, I just thought about him. For what was if Revenge of the Sith, right, was the other way around? Do you reckon Obi-Wan could have overjumped Anakin and got him? Possibly. You know what? He probably would have. Like they say, Obi-Wan's the master of the high ground. Obi-Wan is the master of the low ground and the high ground. Literally. Alright. What did I put fourth? Right, I New Hope. New Hope goes in fourth place because the story's just basic. It's just basic. It's totally Star Wars. It's a movie that created Star Wars, so I'm going to give it some points for that. It's a decent movie. It is basic. I see why people don't like it, but it did come out in 77, so I got to give it some. You got to give it some of a break for that. It's about how Luke Skywalker gets trained, you know, and all that, and how he learns, of course. It's kind of, it's a little bit slow. I'll be honest with you, but I do enjoy it as a movie, and it does reveal to the events what's to come. Like the New Hope, we wouldn't have Star Wars, so I gotta give a point for that. Sure, it is a wee bit basic, but you know what? Everything starts basic. Everything starts. There's rarely any movies where the first movie is a bang, and the second movie is not bigger banger. So sometimes there is. I guess kind of like Deadpool movie. I feel like Deadpool 2 was a little bit worse than Deadpool 1, but not in that type of way. Oh right, where would I put number 3? Return of the Jedi. Great movie. Luke Skywalker like redeems the father, so how Anakin got redeemed, Darth Vader got redeemed. It's just so good. They introduced the Emperor, more of an interesting character. It just did so much. The Jabba the Hutt, the Twilight scenes are pretty good as well. I'll be honest with that. About the gangs that got overtook, killed Jabba the Hutt and all that. Ewok's not a bad planet. It's just maybe the Ewoks are a little bit overdone. Like the reason why Palpatine lost, or City is what we want to call him, it's because he did sense that he would have won against him. He would have won if it wasn't for the Ewoks. It's because he did sense the Ewoks. Like, you actually watched the movie quite in depth, you'd be like, yeah. He didn't know. He didn't know about the planet species. He didn't know there'd be other planet species that would have helped the rebels. Yeah. So I gotta give it some praise for that. I can understand why some people could be mad about that. But it is a really good movie. And I actually watched it a couple of days ago. It was really, really fun. Second, Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith. Guys, it's a really, really good movie. Star Wars series favorite movie. It's not my favorite Star Wars movie personally, because it has got a couple of flaws in it. Like the 4 hour cut in this film. If I reckon if Revenge of the Sith had a 4 hour cut, I would personally say Revenge of the Sith is better than Empire Strikes Back if we got the 4 hour cut of Revenge of the Sith. Because there's so much missing. And it goes into detail about better how they wanted 66 and all that. Order 66 is sad and that all, but it's about how the Empire took over on that. It's really cool. The scene at the start where about the ship is actually done really well. Grievous's ship and the hand or something like that. I think it's called something like that. I don't remember the name, but it's cool. The Grievous fight is also cool as well. The Dooku fight's cool as well. It's just the problem with my Vengeance Sith with why I prefer the Empire Strikes Back, which we'll go in a minute, go over the Vengeance Sith. Vengeance Sith is just sort of like lightsaber battles after lightsaber battles after lightsaber battles. It's got so many fight scenes in it, it's actually crazy with the lightsaber battles with Vengeance Sith's got on it. So I do feel like it does lose a lot of story due to that. And how Anakin got kind of was so obsessed with love. Too much. He didn't know how to control it. He was really bad. Empire Strikes Back. God, I love this movie. Empire Strikes Back. Do we need to talk? The favourite, honestly, see the Battle Hoth. Battle Hoth alone is such a good battle. It is done so good. And it's not like Empire Strikes. See, the thing that I like about Vengeance and Empire Strikes Back is they do something really good. The bad guys win. I don't know what it is, but whenever bad villains win, it's so rare in movies, right? Especially in Marvel movies, man. See Marvel and DC movies where the villain actually won at the end of the movie, it's more darker. I think some of them would be better movies. Like imagine Endgame. In fact, I guess that's why I prefer Infinity Ward. We're not doing that over Endgame because Thanos wins, and it's a lot darker. Like Endgame's just Endgame, the time travel and all that can get a wee bit annoying, and some of the other Avengers movies are kind of weird that way. But that's my point to Marvel, and same goes to the Batman movies. Like the Dark Knight's a really dark movie. Sure, Batman ultimately wins, but at what cost? At what cost does he win? So it's really, really dark. I Am Your Pharisee. God, I don't think anything in Star Wars can even compete with that scene. Imagine that. I wasn't around in 1980, but see the people that seen that in 1980, they must have been like, "Oh my God, we did not expect this." And that thing that says, "I know, look, I am your father." It's just so good. It's about how he fell to the dark side, but he didn't manage to control it. If he trained, he's got the same thing. The same goes to Dagobah. Dagobah's done really, really well as well. I feel like Dagobah and the Return of the Jedi is a little bit rushed. And I feel like they could have maybe done a couple of training seasons. Because somehow he becomes a Jedi. Like, he does train, but yeah. I kind of see what they did with it a wee bit that way. But that's my ranking for Star Wars movies. So worst to best. So my favourite Star Wars movie is Empire Strikes Back. My least favourite movie is Return of the Jedi. Fucking on about The Last Jedi. And I fucking despise why they literally said The Last Jedi is going to be the Empire Strike Back. I think that's why so many people got hyped about it as well. Because they literally said that. It's nothing like that. Trailers and marketing is such a manipulating marketing. Literally, The Last Jedi. I hope you like this video. Put down your list. Put your Star Wars movies from worst to best. Or even just put the original 9. You know what? Just put the original 9 movies. You don't need to do Rogue One. And you don't need to do Solo. But you can do it if you want. And the same goes to Clone Wars if you want to do that as well. Star Wars was something else, a TV show. In fact, I may as well rank the TV shows like 1 minute we'll spend. Rebels is alright. Rebels I probably put like 7, right? If I had to put it as a movie, right? Resistance, that's easy, it'd be the worst. Clone Wars probably be number 1. Mandalorian would be like 5-ish. The Clone Wars movie would probably be about here-ish. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you all next time. Peace out. Bye.